Okay, good morning, everyone. Saturday morning, we're going to go through the Tai Chi Paradigm 108 movement Tai Chi form. It is a 90-minute class, but you can do as much as you want. Tomorrow, we're still going to have the second meetup before we do the real opening on June 30th. So, you can join in. Hopefully, we don't get rained out. But like I said last week, if it does rain and it's too heavy, we can always drift inside. We'll keep that social distancing, and everyone can kind of see what the space is like now that it's all set up for the opening. So it'll be like a soft opening. So anyways, feet shoulder width, hands up, like this, then turn. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and stop. Okay, to the side. Push to the side. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay, hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right, 2, 3. To your left, 2, 3. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right, 2, 3. To your left, 2, 3. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay, hands up. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, hands on your waist. Rotating. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, and stop. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center. Cross. Knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Switch. Other direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, and stop. Okay, center. Hands on your waist, neck turning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Tilt to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center. Rotating. 1, 2, 3. Reverse. 1, 2, 3. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, spread your feet. Turn your shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and stop. Okay, stretch it out. Switch. 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 Okay, let's straighten out the front knee. Switch. 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 Center. Okay, shake it out. Okay, hands up. Pull in. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, hands in your waist. Going to do a few shoulder rolls. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Okay, press, release, exhale, inhale. stop. Deep breathing, inhale, exhale. Okay. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Okay, wrists. And center. Reverse. Okay, center. Palms down. Bigger circle. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay, shake it out. So let's practice shifting our weight, finding our center. We're going to go over to the side, keeping the spine as vertical as possible. Switch to the side. Balance. Here's your balance point. So it's really just tracking your movement as you go from side to side. You move over, get your spine over the supporting leg, which is trying to get your spine over the heel. Get your foot up. Here's the single-legged position. Up, and we're going to lift the knee. So once you establish your shoulder width stance, you'll pretty much know how far you should spread your feet just from the experience of finding your center, okay? And this is actually working your balance by finding your center and just practicing that motion, right? So then we'll go to the leg swing. We're going to start here. So the feet are not shoulder width, but closer together like this. So anywhere from, 2 inches between the feet to, you don't want to have them touching, just maybe 2 inches, maybe a little bit more, but 2 inches is about ideal so that you don't have a drastic shift. So you're just moving over a little bit. Pick this foot up. Now this can kind of hang, but that's pretty close now. It's swinging right along the side of your leg. So the hand and the foot is opposite in the front. Okay, center. We're going to switch. We're going to work this way. Okay, ready? Get this hand out, get this foot out, and go. center. Okay, next, going off to the side. And center. Switch, other side, swing. Okay, center. Shake it out. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, spread your feet. We're going to go forward and back. So this is silk really now. This is diagonal flying. Turn around. Diagonal flying with a lift. Sit back. Hold the ball and forward and back. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, switch, opposite side, forward and back. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we go around a couple of more times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and reset. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're back. Okay, deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. Okay, next, just relax for a second. So we just worked some of the circles and some of the circles. That's part of, the cloud hands and so forth. Now we're going to do, the silk rilling went like this. Now we're just going to cross to here, and then instead of doing this, we're just going to expand into the horizontal direction for open and close. Okay, so now we're going to bring one foot forward. So here's your cross hands. So essentially in Tai Chi everything is circular, and Tai Chi is really made up of circles. So because we're, especially newer people, aren't used to creating all these different patterns, it becomes something somewhat new to someone that hasn't done a lot with sort of spatial movements. And, it sounds like it's so foreign, but the thing is, everything that we do is actually in space. And we're just opening and closing. So we cross the forearms, open up, and close. Open up, and close. So when you open, your hands are actually both facing that way, and then we cross. So every posture, and this is still not exactly the Tai Chi posture that we have in the form, but it is somewhat posturing because we have a hand position, we have a leg position. Okay, shake it out. So any posture is really a position where the hands are in a certain shape and the legs are in a certain shape and you're facing a certain direction. So that's what a posture is. And it really has to do with, in our instance, it's the vertical spine. Okay, and now shoulder width preparation, or sometimes I call it circular movements. Although everything is circular, I just use this as a reference, circular movements. So if you're familiar with the form, this is preparation. It's the opening of the form. It's sinking the elbow and relaxing the shoulders. And it's just one continuous motion. Sinking the elbow, bending the knees, press down, rise up, sink down. Sinking is releasing the tension in the knee and ankles and the hips and knees, kind of let go. So try to relax into your position. Don't just physically think of it as bending. You know, there is physical motion, but how do we create that motion is really letting go and relaxing, and everything will, just happen by itself. Okay, so that's a pretty simple movement. So then when you bend your knees, you say, well, how much effort should you use in bending your knees? If you take the tension out of the knee and just let things relax, you will start to descend. And part of that is the effect of gravity. Then how much should my shins go forward? Well, you let your body respond to that because the ligaments and the tendons will only go so far before they'll stop you. There's a limit. That limit is something that your body will allow you to adapt. And that limit is what you have to control, just like when we bend our hips. The relationship between the ankle and the hip is actually going to be correlating because once you release, then your shin and your ankles will let you go right where the Achilles is. It's going to bend so far, and it's going to stop you. So in that stop position, then you begin to make your transition back. So that cycle has to be happening over time as a very gentle timing that's really tied to your body and your sensory system in a case where it's kind of signaling when you're going to stop and straighten. Because, anything beyond that point where it stops you, anything beyond that with too much force is going to cause, damage and injury. So your body will sort all that out by itself. All right, really? Inhale, ready, and exhale. Ready, inhale, exhale. Okay, now we're going to go to a standing position. Just hold it, and here's a hoop position, lower hoop about waist level, which is, actually use your navel as your alignment for the height of this. Now my elbows are bent, so is that the most extreme down position? No, this is the most extreme because that's when your arms are elongated. So this is bent a little to create that shape. So this is lower hoop, clear your thoughts, breathe through your nose, tongue touches the roof of your mouth. Okay, go to shoulder height. Elbows down. Okay, now we lower. Now we straighten up the knees, lift the back. Extend. And hands up. Pull in. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. When we do these exercises, we're focused, we're relaxed, and then the eyes are kind of steering, gazing, but not looking specific anything. But you're also, when we're doing movements and we're doing something like deep breathing, you're tracking your hands and you're following. So the visualization and also the peripheral vision is actually being developed as well, because your eyes are focusing on that. So you're even training your eyes to focus and follow and track. So a lot of things are going on, simply because we're not just heightening our awareness and sensitivity, but we're using you know everything that we're dealing with. I mean, your body has musculature, you know, it's tissue, your eyes move, those muscles there, everything is part of that. So everything that we're developing is still tied to somewhat of a motor skill. So motor skill has to do with that. Circulation in the whole body comes from good movement. So when we move, whether it's every part of the body that moves should be moving. Okay, next. Now we're going to be going into the diagonal flying movement, which is really to hold the ball, stepping out and getting to this position, and we slant up like this. Switch. Next, adjust your feet, cloud hands. Palms down, palms up, lift up, carry tiger to the mountain. And next, right about where the solar plexus, infinity sign. And form the fist. And center. Okay, next we're going to find the center line, fold the elbows, strum the lute. Triangle position. Find your center. Thumbs up, palms together. Alternate the shoulders. And center. Other side. Switch. Thumbs up, palms together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Center, extend, draw the bow. Draw the bow. Okay. Step out. Fan through the back. Okay. Shake it out. Let's step up and raise the hand. Okay, shake it out. Hands up, deep breathing. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Okay, what time we got there? We got about 25 minutes. 10:06. So these warm-ups are supplementary movements. They actually fundamentals. We actually build off of those. Everything that's tied to our form has a relationship to these warm-ups. And as you progress, especially newer people learning the sequence, one of the biggest problems is how do I remember all of those movements? And then you kind of fumble through it by trying to mimic the movements and learn the whole sequence. But you actually have to start in the beginning, and you learn, and you repeat, and you learn over and over. And so repetition is very important, and the more you practice, the better you get. Now, the thing is, even at the school here, people that learn, once you get the knack of it, it seems like you evolve a lot quicker, and then you pass through by picking up more of the sequence a lot quicker, but not actually embodying it. So I have a saying, it's, first in, last out. So what does that mean, first in, last out? In the beginning, you spend a lot more time learning the fundamentals and the basics because you don't know a lot. So what ends up happening, you spend more time, you learn the beginning of the form. We always start in the beginning and then we build on it. So you always will learn the beginning and practice the beginning a lot more. Then as you progress, you start to pick up pieces that you don't practice as much because you're kind of passing through trying to get to the end of the sequence. So first in, you practice it a lot, it's going to be ingrained. It's the last out, that's the last thing that you'll start to forget, especially if you left or you stopped practicing. So last in is first out. So whatever you learn near the end of the form that you haven't done frequently, it ends up you forget that first. That applies, to everything that we do, and when we get to the 108 movement form, I'll address the same concept as that first in, last out concept. So because we're learning the Tai Chi Paradigm, I've gone through the sequence so many times, so let's go to the end of the form, and then let's go backwards to see what some of the things happens in the end of the form, which is the closing movements. So closing movements, we're in the single whip. Okay. So closing movement is hold the ball, reverse the ball, diagonal flying with a lift. So now if we do this movement in the long form, that would be setting you up for part the horse's mane. So if you know the closing movements, which is from single whip, then it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Reverse the ball, 1, 2, 3. Here's your diagonal flying on the right side. Here's your position here. You step backwards. Hands go forward as you sit back. And we're going backwards and closing the form. All right, so that's closing movements. So what leads us to closing movements is the Jade Lady Work Shuttle, right? So Jade Lady Work Shuttle, if we do it toward the mirror, when we've done this as a drill before, because we're in part the horse's mane, then we go to the two corners. So we sit back and we cross over and we step up, and this is the frontal form where we're working the Jade Lady Work Shuttle, and we cross over, step up, and we're here. And you go forward, and you go back, 1, 2. So that's left and right Jade Lady Work Shuttle. If you looked at it from the totally front view, it would be like this. That's your left side. We step up. That's your right side. Okay. So Jade Lady Work Shuttle happens on both sides. This is an upper hoop position. So we have one on this side and one on this side, right? We have a push. And we have a push. So it's the same push as in brush knee. It's the same pushing, meaning that. And because we don't have two of them, it's directed to the center. Okay. same push as close the door. See, so there's common elements and postures that your body will pick up on over time. That's what muscle memory is. That's what transition is. That's what you develop as part of the accuracy of your movements. So you have to understand that all of the little things that we're doing have some similarities. So the push is a push, happens in that direction. A push could be down, push could be forward, a push could be up. So the term push really refers to using your palm in a direction. So that's another concept. I said, movements are directional. So this is the direction of movement. My palm is going over there. My palm is going over there. So where's it going? It's going to your center line. Here's your center line. Your palms go there. Now, when the palms go out like this, it's usually like this as a double palm. Except for when we do this, which is close the door. Close the door is a single line. Okay, so that's reference points that your body will eventually understand, because you have to associate the name of that movement with the position of that posture. So you have to identify the name, the posture as a unit, and then you'll start to memorize and remember that. Okay. So that's J Lady Work Shuttle. We just did it from, usually happens after part the horse's mane. So in part the horse's mane, I would be like this. Then I would sit back and I would cross over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now if I cross over, 1, 2 is the leg movements, vertical, horizontal, vertical, turn to the center, and J Lady Work Shuttle. So the two positions, those are your target positions, and you're in the forward stance. You're in the forward stance. Okay, so that's what J Lady Work Shuttle is. It usually happens in the form, not over here, but on this side. Okay, so on this side, if we were to do it, it would end up crossing over 1, 2, 3. That's vertical to horizontal, the vertical, and then J Lady Work Shuttle. Essentially, it's 4 movements: 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and then we hook the wrist, we turn to the front, and we're here. Okay, and then we have a set of cloud hands where the hand goes like this. 1, without the legs, 2, 3, 4, hook your wrists, and we're here. Then we hold the ball, reverse the ball, diagonal flying. Then we go out to the side, we step backwards, move the hands forward, go to a parallel stance, and you close the form. Okay. So everything's very precise. We learn to maneuver, controlling, every segment of the body, and then, we refine the timing and so forth. So that's, the part of the developing your skill level. So J Lady Work Shuttle leads to that. Then we end up in the frontal position, and we have a set of cloud hands. So cloud hands is this. We do this, sometimes we do it like this. Right? This is in the drill. We're only doing upper body movement. When you do cloud hands, you're really in this stance, stemming off of this, but we don't just stand here and do this, we have to move. Okay? So we shift, and we shift, and we shift. So that's how the knees have to kind of alternate. It's really bringing weight over here and bringing weight over here. So we've done that, not in this form, but we've done it here. And then we've done it so that when we move to this side and get our body here, we've done that. Then we step back and we've done this. Okay, so what is that? That's transitioning to the side, laterally across. So we shift. That's just finding your center. But in the cloud hands, we actually move toward the left. Okay, so that's kind of the vertical leg work. Now when we're here and we shift, because our feet are flared out like that. So this is very unique to the Wu style, because our single whip is like this. Some styles, the single whip is like this. So then you end up squaring your feet, and then you would end up doing that. But because our feet are flared out like this, and we turn this way, in order for me to get over this leg comfortably, I have to actually pivot on the heel of this foot to this position. Okay? Once I change my hands, I have to turn back toward the other corner, and that's called the T stance, and then I start to bring my hips around. Once I change my hands, it allows me to step out, but we know that we have to go back through this stance. So then we bring it across and pivot on the heel to follow the direction of your movement. Tee out, hook your wrist, open the stance again, single whip. And then you close the form. So in this style, Wu style, we have a position like this. So this horse stance, it's called the horse stance. That's like a shape of a house, but the thing is, the shape in here is as if you're sitting on a horse, on the back of a horse. So that's why they call it a horse riding stance. So obviously when you're in a horse, your feet might be in stirrups, and then your feet would be like this. But that could be a horse stance too. So that's stylistically one type of horse stance. We have this horse stance as a Tai Chi stance because we can transition from side to side depending on where we're going. If I go like this, I'm going to be ready to move this way. And if I'm holding the ball, I would be in a diagonal flying. So you see, when we shift and we do this, that's how we get into a diagonal flying. But because my feet are so wide, I can't actually step up. I can't step up because I don't have enough weight on this leg because of the differential. It doesn't allow me to move this foot without actually falling into it because you're out of control. Your center of mass is sort of in limbo. It's in another space. So when you want to shift, you actually have to end up doing this until you get your foot here. All right? And then you step up, and this would be step up to raise the hand. Okay, so that concept of shifting weight and finding your center of mass and how you move from one leg to the other is really the big benefit that you gain from doing Tai Chi to improve balance, stability, transition, and then as part of age-related degeneration, build the coordination and control of, fall prevention, mainly because you're controlling the lower half of your body. The lower half of your body is the part that gets fragile. It becomes disconnected and it becomes weak. And it's weak from non-use. It's not weak simply because of aging. It doesn't, most weakness is going to come from non-use. Your muscles become weak because they atrophy and they're not being used, so the muscle will deteriorate because it doesn't have enough nutrients going to it and doesn't have enough contracting so that it's being utilized to bring nutrients to it. So that's why it deteriorates. And then the strength of it is adaptability. If you don't use it, you're gonna lose it. And it's much more complicated than just that term, losing it. What happens is the musculature starts to deteriorate from the lack of nutrients and non-use. It starts to get weaker because the strength comes from the use of it. It becomes elastic, the contractions become stronger. So when your muscles get stronger, that's what actually happens. The contraction gets stronger because it takes energy to do that. So if you lose energy, then you lose the contraction. And you lose the contraction, you lose strength. And what is part of losing strength is your skeletal structure, it doesn't move. So that's kind of what happens in a nutshell, but we don't actually think about it like this, so we don't understand that's what happens. So the fact that we're doing this and we're bending and we're shifting and doing this and sustaining our weight on that supporting leg becomes a weight-bearing exercise. If you don't bear your weight on your leg, how else can you strengthen it? If you can't bear your weight on your legs and strengthen it, forget about going to a gym and do squats because you're not going to be ready to do that or conditioned to do that. But that's actually not the best way to strengthen your legs. If you want to develop mobility, we could stand here and just do this, bend our knees 100 times, and tomorrow you'll be pretty sore. But that's not what we're training for directly. We're training to shift our weight. We're training to shift our weight. So we don't want to just bend the knees. We want to bend and shift and then move. That's where our agility and mobility comes from. So if I'm here, I shift and then I can move. If I pull it back, I can move. So everything that we're doing is learning to move through center, controlling that. So if our legs are way out here, how do you get back here and then be comfortable? It's because your lower half has to adapt. You have to find the stance, and then you can move through center, then you can move forward, you can move back, you can do anything, you can turn. All of these things is part of the footwork. So in Tai Chi, we have 5 coordinations: hand, eye, body, waist, and stance. The stance is the leg work. It's those 5 coordinations, the hands and the eyes. So I talked about hand-eye coordination. The body is your body form. The waist is your torso that has to move, and the waist turning. And the stance is the leg work, the leg methods. The leg method is probably the hardest to develop. So it starts day 1 when you stand, and day 100, you're still working with those legs. The day 1,000, you're still working those legs. So that's why you will evolve, but it's not the same, exact same timing and so forth as you were day 1 and day 1,000, because your body has adapted through, the understanding, experience, and the journey. So what it all comes down to is your experience. You have to practice and gain that experience, which is the mindfulness and the consciousness of that experience. And then you get smarter. Your body gets smarter. Everything gets more intelligent. All right, so now we're going to go through the sequence. So we did a little bit of the end of the form. We've done the beginning 10,000 times, and we want to go to the end. So now you have something to practice in the back of the form. You have closing movements. You have J-Lady work, shuttle. Next time, maybe I'll work from there and go to part the horse's bane, and then work it backwards until we get back to the left side movements. All right, so from here, we're going to do a few deep breaths and do the form. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Okay, ready? Feet shoulder width. Preparation. So there's 4 brush knee. Strum the lute. close the door, palms out, push, relax the elbows and knees, form the fists, and punch. Divert, block, and punch. Okay, back to neutral. Fist under elbow. Repulse the monkey. So you're going to go back 3 times. This is like, hand movements are like the brush knee movements, but this is called retreat and repulse the monkey. Insert the needle. Step up. Fan to the back. Stroke down. Invert the hand. Parry and punch. Step forward. Punch. Divert, block, and punch. So you notice I'm going fairly slow. We can finish each movement without rushing. It allows your body and your understanding to kind of focus on the different positions so you develop. This should be left-handed outside. Now if you're watching, I don't know if Luciana switched the image, but if you're watching, that was not mirror image. You should be following from behind me, so the mirror image would have been behind me. Now this is your left side grasp the sparrow's tail. Left side single whip. Here's your hold the ball. Here's your reverse. And this leads us to diagonal flying. Then we're going to sit back. So we have that reversal movement on both sides. And this is pot the horse's mane. And this is step up. Vertical, pot the horse's mane. And here we are. We did this. So there's essentially 4 movements. You can sort of draw the contrast between this and the grasp the sparrow's tail as similar as far as 4 different movements. Now we're back to the front, and we're going to do a set of cloud hands. And this is something we did as a tutorial. You can do this over and over again. And we focused on this. So you should have an idea that on this specific lesson, you would have the back part of this form, and we're going to close. Okay, so we did the back side to the front, and we're going to move to the closing. Okay, deep breathing, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Okay, so hopefully that was helpful to you. If you've been following, you know that the videos are archived. And with that said, you can go to YouTube, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, share this with friends because the content is available for anybody that has access to YouTube. There's a lot of different things that we've been trying to achieve with the technology to give you opportunity to learn. This is kind of a global market, so we're working on, or some of it's already been done. It's in about, 8 to 11 languages right now in closed caption, so you can find the language that you want, because the audio side of this is actually pretty helpful. Learning without, it's kind of like that Lost in Translation. There was a movie like that, Lost in Translation. Well, if you don't have the audio side of it, it's really left to guessing. And guessing becomes somewhat misleading if you're guessing the wrong way. So it's good to kind of read the text and kind of see what it's telling you, and then at the same time, it'll support your understanding as, what I'm trying to get across. Yeah, without the understanding, it gets to be sort of this guessing game. Should I be doing this? Should I be doing this? How do I practice? How do I do this? So for skilled people, or people who have been doing this a while, they've already gone through that process, so they know what it takes to do that. So many disciplines are like that. After you've gone through a certain amount of training, you begin to realize, well, this is what I really need to do, and your focus changes. So on that note, there's also on the YouTube channel on the right-hand corner, there's a little platform that says Zoom. You can actually Tai Chi Zoom and Kung Fu Zoom. If you go there and you click on that, it'll ask for an email, and it just gives you an opportunity, if you're interested at some point in the future, to do some type of a smaller group Zoom lesson where you can kind of interact live, and I can connect with you, or Lucien, if he's doing the Zoom, or Minor is doing a Zoom, you can connect with them, and they can kind of look at your movements and tell you what you might be doing wrong. So on this side of it, I only can imagine what you might need to learn or to figure out. So for me, I'm virtually teaching too. So on that note, I'll see you next time. If you're doing just Tai Chi Paradigm, I'm going to go into the 108 now, and we'll work on that a bit. Okay, with the 108 movement form, we always start just like the other. So preparation is very important. You start off with preparation. All right. So as I mentioned in the last class, first in is last out, last in is first out. So as you progress and you bring in some of the concepts I talk about body manipulation, skeletal manipulation, shifting of weight, any concept that's a little more advanced or newer to your approach, if you don't practice that, that's going to go away first. So whatever you learn, as a class when you're more advanced, the tendency, because you hear it, you don't actually practice it the way you would practice it when you were a beginner. So what ends up happening is, even though you think you know it, which you do, everyone has a certain amount of intelligence and a certain amount of understanding, but does your body know it? If you go through this whole process of convincing yourself that your body has to learn through muscle memory and transitions and all those things that involve it, learning something that's much more refined, and you just think that you know it, you're misleading yourself, because once you lose that idea that you've learned as a concept in a more advanced skill level, you're going to lose it. You're going to lose it because you didn't embody it. And that's really the nature of the beast. That's how people don't progress. Believe it or not, as long as you practice, if you don't focus on the newer things that you're learning to develop that and then become part of your overall learning, then you're going to actually end up not progressing. So that's really what happens. So, with that said, first line is sequence. You can't get, even your sequence improves, because the end of the form, you didn't learn it the same way you learned at the beginning. We went through it. We don't actually drill it as much, because we always have to go from the beginning to the end. So if you want to improve your form, start from this, maybe from the third cloud hands, and work to the end. Third cloud hands, work to the end, and then put it all together. So practice the end of the form 3 times, and practice the whole form once, then you would have practiced the back end 4 times. That's just an example. It's not that's not the perfect thing for everyone, but then that's a method to approach. And then if you're working on your kicks, do the kicks 10 times, then do the form. You still have to do the form, otherwise you'll forget that. So anyways, let's go from the beginning, all right? Okay, mine has been the back there. Now we're in carry tiger to the mountain. These are the obliques. I just like to point these out to you so you know this is one of the areas of the form that's different from the Tai Chi paradigm. It's your oblique movements. Nothing really unique about the postures. It's really a change in direction, and the footwork is different, so that's would be unique in that sense. This open, it's not a kick. This looks like crescent kick. Okay, so anybody that questioning that is really not it's a footwork, it's a leg work. And here we are stepping up again. So this is a repeat. We've done this earlier. Raise the hand bent from the waist, stalk flaps wings. So now everybody knows what stalk flaps wings is. And we're here. I'm going to move over here a little bit. Okay, brush knee 1 time, and then insert the needle. we begin the next section, which is really the kicks, right after the first set of cloud hands. This is an instep kick or a toe kick. So the first two kicks are toe kicks. Third kick is a heel kick. And it's a left heel kick. Same hand movements as all the kicks. Then we have two brush knee, one on each side. Planting punch. Set up for beat the tiger. So, each one of these groupings of movements is like a mini sequence. So you can practice the pieces, then eventually pull it all together. That's your right heel kick. That last thing was beat the tiger. Now we have the two parting legs. This is like that stroke we talked about. Your leg goes around, then it comes back over here. You make the 360 pedal step, 360-degree U-turn. It's really a circle. Then this leg comes up and it comes around. Then we're back to square one. We're at the parry and punch. Form the fist, and then we punch, and then it repeats. This whole thing is a repeat. Cross the arms, leopard and tiger, springs to mountain. Okay, now we're repeating. This is going through the obliques again. So obliques really work the corners. Here's a corner movement, brush knee in the corner. 180 degrees in the corner, opposite corner. And we fill it with grass the sparrow's tail. And then we turn back to the front. Instead of going to that corner, because we have the hold the ball movement on the reversing and the diagonal flying. Otherwise, we would just go straight into part the horse's mane. And we do two here. Then we're going to step up and do one. So we have this movement actually in the Tai Chi Paradigm. Then we have this movement in the long form in the Tai Chi Paradigm. But we do it twice here again. So we have 5 part the horse's mane in the long form. And you cross over. Jade Lady work shadow. Because we do 4 corners, we have to pivot and do one side, the frontal side first, and then we hook the stroke down and we part the horse's mane. If we were in the other corner, we would do the hook grass the sparrow's tail. Okay, here, Jade Lady work shuttle. When we crossed over again, so you notice part the horse's mane leads to Jade Lady. So that's a natural sequence. Then we go to the back corner. Now we've done all 4 corners. Jade Lady work shuttle, and then grass the sparrow's tail. So you see the 4 movements. What still has vertical, horizontal, divert, and push. And we're back to center. Now we do the second set of cloud hands. And then we're going to go to downward posture, which has snake sticks out tongue. Go to neutral. thrust out, invert. So lift, pull down, step up, standing on one leg, golden cockerel, thrust and kick, lift, go back to neutral, opposite side, and we reverse, repulse the monkey. Second set, as you recall, the first set we came off a fist under elbow. The second set is off of the golden cockerel. Then we carry tiger to the mountain again. We open the stance, and we go right into the horse, and we spiral down to a hold the ball position, and then we repeat, because we have to get that second set of insert needle and fan through the back and so forth. And we're here. Brush knee. One time. Insert needle. So insert needle, brush knee, go hand in hand, fan through the back, follows insert needle, parry and punch follows fan through the back. And that happens, that relationship happens a lot in many of the other forms, mainly because it's sort of a natural progression. When you're first learning, you don't know the difference between what a progression is and a linkage between the postures. So there's no, rhyme or reason you would think. Just like hold the ball to diagonal flying is really consistent, but we're going to cloud hands. And I'm shifting and pivoting and maneuvering. There's a whole bunch of things happening in the body while this is going on. And here we go. Next, we have palm strikes face. Going into the last segment of the form, you're going to get sections on here that's repeated. This is single lotus kick. Then we have brush knee, left side push, right side punch down to crotch, and step up to grasp the sparrow's tail. And then we get back to here, single whip again. Now this time we're done with the cloud hands. What we're going to do now is the second downward posture. And we pull down after we inverted the hands to cross hand position. So we cross the hands, or like this, pull back, retreat, hook. This is, ride the tiger or gaze at the moon. So we're palm strikes face. We turn, we do the double lotus kick, and then we sit back and draw bow and shoot the tiger. Palm strikes face. See, this is the second time. That's the repeat. Parry and punch. Just from high pat the horse. So you did this kind of setup for beat the tiger. And then grasp the sparrow's tail. Then you're back to single whip. Okay, deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So it is a process. That's the long form, 108 movement form. I remember back in maybe 25 years ago, someone at one of the senior centers that I taught at asked me, he said, so, being a senior, she just started to learn Tai Chi for the first time, and so she said to me, so what do you do to learn, or, now that you're teaching? But, a lot of people, when they're first picking this up, they only see sort of the physical aspect of it, and you don't realize that you can evolve. So, the evolution of your movement and your understanding, is that journey. You're learning, you're constantly discovering, and you're developing insights and knowledge from those experiences. But it happens over a long, long time. So between someone new learning and someone, at my level, because of the number of years I've done it, the big difference is really time. That's the biggest difference. It's very hard for someone to catch up without going through the time. So while I'm continually progressing, and that's what my teacher would say to me, he said, while you learn, I'm learning. You learn, I'm learning. So I'm learning through my own experience, and also, discovering through the process. So after spending 50 years, over 50 years of doing this, definitely my insights and abilities are going to be different from someone who's only had 5 years or 10 years. The smartest person would still have to go through a process like this. It's just, how humans learn and how you evolve. The adaptability and what happens between the mind and the body is something that you can't duplicate without time. Now, what you have an advantage to, or students that learn from me have an advantage, is that my experience over the time is shared as knowledge, and is shared as, experience, so that you can actually not take away time, but take away the guesswork. So what you're gaining from this is that you can shortcut it in one sense, that you don't have to go through the experimental level completely, because now you're starting to understand structure, body position. All of those things are the things that I had to struggle with when I was learning, because it wasn't taught exactly like the way I'm teaching it. So my teaching has evolved based on my experience and how old school has taught it. So that's why the Tai Chi paradigm is called a modern approach to an antiquated way. People don't realize that it's the same material, but its approach and the teaching is different, in a sense that it's really more concentrated as the guidelines. So anyone have a question, Lucienne? Okay, so anyone that's been following, just a heads up, next week the school opens. We have classes running. Tuesday, Saturday morning will be live. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights will be live. Wednesday morning, Thursday morning will be streamed. All the other videos that I've done has been archived. So Wednesday morning will be a similar schedule. Thursday will be the Tai Chi class like we typically do. So that will be a streaming morning type of a program. And then the stuff on those mornings will be archived, and you can access them that way. So streaming's not going away. And then we have to see, how many people come back. We're going to play it by ear to see how we can adopt a schedule. I call it a soft opening, but we haven't really eliminated any of the essential classes from our beginners to the advanced level. So the only thing is it's scaled back time-wise, not as many classes overall in a day, but there'll still be the dosage of the material that we've been doing. So hope to see you if you're tuning in from the local area. And one question. Okay. So it's getting into the single whip or getting out of the single whip? Yeah. So, okay, I think I know. So you're talking about from grass to sparrow's tail, and you hook your wrists. So coming from the wide side is because I can open my stance from there. But as a new person, you would like to actually find your center and then reach out and then pivot to develop that mechanic. See, the difference is, which is something I'm going to point it out to you, but you may not recognize it till later on. So just like I said, just a little while ago, that through the experience, this is what you have to do as a new person to find 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. That's getting into single whip. Now, if you're already progressed a bit and you know that you're ready to go into that stance, grasp the sparrow's tail comes like this. Because I can control my center by controlling this leg. See, if I'm here, then I have absolute weight here. Then I can sustain this before I open here. Even there's some stuff that's going on in here. But if I'm here and I hook, I've already made that distinction in the leg. So at no point, this is the gross error. Okay, so that's what you try to avoid. The way I did it in those two different methods is still controlling your center, and the supporting leg has to be, knowing that it has to do that. So that's what, evolving is, that your body starts to know, and it knows not to shift prematurely. Here's another example of what you're kind of like that too. When you first open the form, if your feet are like this, right, you're going to open the form, we're here, and you do that. That's actually a fault. You should not do that. You should stay here. Sustain this and then touch down, and then you begin to find your stance. Now the shoulder width, where is that shoulder width? Well, the shoulder width is here. That's how you measured your shoulder width. So when you go from here to here, your body will know shoulder width. But you're also knowing it from here. So that's I think that's what you're looking at. So anyways, on that note, subscribe and give us a thumbs up. Thank you. We'll see you next time. Next Saturday, we won't be streaming unless we actually do a class and stream it. Thursday's the streaming, but it's archived. Oh yeah, next Saturday is 4th of July too. We're not open. Oh, you should send that out too.